Alright, guys, so Peter was asked what he would have done differently if he was our president to tackle this insecurity in Nigeria. But before I like guys to take a listen at what he responded, there are many things happening in Nigeria today. So let's get down to it, because the level of insecurity have actually brought the notice of Donald Trump, the US, which he said is going to come to Nigeria and invade Nigeria. So I'll be showing you guys some what's happening in Nigeria, rather. So some headlines. So let's just say that this one said that Boko Haram, imagine what somebody said, that Boko Haram and family bandits are northern Nigeria freedom fighters. So this person is saying that Boko Haram is northern freedom fighters, and we all know how these people have destroyed our country, Nigeria, how Boko Haram have destroyed our country, Nigeria. And guess what? It's even our leaders that are the one funding this Boko Haram member. Just take a listen at this headline. You'll be shocked to hear it, where somebody came out and said that Governor Shetima created and funded Boko Haram, not me, Modu Sharif. You can imagine how they are busy exposing themselves just because Trump said that he's going to invade Nigeria and take out all the terrorists. Now the terrorists are trying to run. I said the terrorists are trying to run because right now, look at the headline. I said that Chad short border as terrorists plan to flee northern Nigeria over planned US military attack. So now all of them are wanting to run. They want to flee from Nigeria because they know what is coming to them. And ever since Trump made that statement, Nigeria leaders have woken up. They've been tweeting. They've been trying to lie because they now came out to publish after Tinubu changed his CDS, his defense staff and chiefs. Guess what? Those new defense staffs came up and then they posted a video of 9 months ago. A video of 9 months ago. So they said that troops of 12th Brigade rescue 2 kidnapped victims and recover ransom in Kogi State. So they are trying to pretend that they are working by bringing an old video 9 months ago and posted it as if they are now working so that Trump will not come to Nigeria and invade. To tell you the kind of leaders we have, you are new in office, but you have started deceiving the people. Trust Nigerians. Nigerians went to go and dig and found out that this is a video of 9 months ago. So that means they are not doing anything. They want to go and bring a video, an old video, so it will be as if they are working. But I'll let you guys to watch some reactions of Nigerians before you watch the video where P2B actually gave an advice or said what he would have done if he was our president of Nigeria. So there are many of them. There are many reactions on this internet. Someone said, "What a shame! Trump isn't wrong for referring to us as now disgraced country." Another one said, every aspect of the government of this country is corrupt and lazy. Because how can the Nigerian army be circling old videos instead of tackling the issue? Which kind of laziness be that? Someone said, they are not even ashamed. They were called a disgraced country and they go about disgracing themselves. This is really embarrassing. And they've not even proven Trump wrong. Shame where me about that. Someone said, the newly appointed military chiefs are starting their assignment with propaganda and fake news. Wonder shall never end. Many reactions. So I'd like us to take a look at the reactions of Nigerians first of all, and then some clips, and then you hear the part where P2B said what he would have done to tackle this insecurity, which the government are not doing. So guys, take a listen at the video. Let me get your thoughts and views in the comment section.
See them. Just a look. You don't see them, Abi? Now them be the problem we get for this country. These Islamic terrorists, all these Fulani people. Now them be these 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, all of them get gone. Just a look, all of them get gone. How they say they get this gun? Now still our politicians, now they supply them these guns. How all these idiots they say where they know where they want to go buy gun? Now see politicians now they supply them with the gun. Listen, I support Donald Trump for this action. Make he send troops. Make they come wipe them out. As he talk, he say he go take action. He go send troops. They go wipe out all the Islamic terrorists. Say go wipe them. And then they call wipe them. They call wipe them. You know how many people all these people don't kill. They don't kill people anyhow. They don't pursue a lot of local governments for north. Now them they stay there. They don't occupy everywhere. Everybody don't run. The one when no run, they don't kill them. They don't occupy a lot of local government for north. All these terrorists them. Now Trump now they come to our aid. Some people see they side this government because the thing never touch you. They never kill your party, kill your man, or kill your wife. You never reach your side. I mean, you know, if you say na joke we dey for this country. Now make you feel say na joke. The insecurity for this country. If you say na joke, some of them from north now they don't cross come south. They do kidnapping and everywhere. Kidnapping now water now for south. Now see all these Fulani so all these people now they don't cross come this side. You see am? Our Nigerian soldier where they fight them for that side. They go manage capture some. They will carry and go give their oga. Their oga go come wear their clothes. They go say this one they don't repent. People don't they kill people since. When I go hold them, when I no kill them. People will not kill our fellow soldier, they don't kill our fellow soldier. When I come out, they say they are repentant, wanting. When they pet them, when they pet all these people, when they pet them, and then they finish the country. Make Donald Trump come, make it tear everywhere. Make it tear, make it kill all of them. God, I beg you, person if you travel through bus again. You cannot travel through road. If you try them, you are on your own, they'll kidnap you. And you say, "Mo, keep quiet." I support Trump for this one. I support him.
Who started the Boko Haram crisis in Borno State? A governor, one Modu Ali Sharif, addressed the press 2 days ago and attempted to insult the collective intelligence and memory of Nigerians by denying any links with the dangerous, dreaded Boko Haram sect. I did reply him yesterday, and I'm expecting him to sue me. Because he said he wanted to sue an Australian. You don't need to go to Australia. What you are looking for in Sokoto is in the pocket of your Sokoto. I'm ready to join issues with him. Because not only did he sponsor that organization by providing funds for them, in 2003, he had a deal with the Boko Haram sect to get him to win the election. And if he won his re-election, he will compensate the organization. When he won that election, he appointed Alhaji Bugu Foy as the Commissioner for Religious Affairs to implement Sharia in that state. When the man attended the first Executive Council meeting, he discovered that they were all talking about contracts and how to steal money. So he went back to the camp, the Boko Haram camp, and said, "Where you send me to is Gida Barawi, the house of thieves. I can no longer be part of them." So he was asked to resign. And that was how Foy resigned from the government of Mutu Sharif. So to say that you don't know them is the greatest lie. I was just reminded this morning by somebody from Borno State that
what started Boko Haram. Everybody knows. It was started in Borno by the then Borno governor, Ali Sharif. He is still roaming the streets freely. Yes. When Yusuf was caught alive, who created it? The ECOMOG. Who created the ECOMOG? We have to look at the root cause in order to find a solution. The root cause of that problem, as we know it today, is Ali Sharif. He used them for his own political machinery. He armed them as his political thugs. He even made one of them a commissioner. But they became too powerful. And they had no option but to try an elimination, which was not possible, and which we are all paying for.
But I believe we took different options, we set different committees. We tried our best within that 5 years that I was there. I believe late Buhari too must have tried his best, because one of the committees we set up then, the Boko Haram nominated Buhari to lead their team to negotiate with government. So I was feeling that, if they nominated Buhari to represent them and have a discussions with the government committee, then when Buhari took over, it could have been an easy way to negotiate with them, and they would have handed over their guns, but it was still there till today. I believe the government, luckily the defense minister is here. The service chiefs all are represented here. I think we will need a slightly different approach, and God willing, we will be able to resolve this crisis. I thank you all.
extensively yesterday. Just yesterday, the Nigerian military decided to prove that it is indeed working very hard, especially with the commissioning of the new service chiefs. And they put out a statement, a press statement on X, and a video. And this is what you have there on the screen. It said, troops of 12th Brigade rescued 2 kidnapped victims and recovered ransom in Kogi State. Now, this is a long story, so we're not going to spend so much time reading it, but it says that in a sustained effort to rid Kogi State of criminal activities, troops of 12th Brigade Nigerian Army deployed at Forward Operating Base FOB Oguma have successfully rescued 2 kidnapped victims and recovered the ransom money meant for their release. Now, that's not all. Like I said, we're not going to spend so much time reading through it. If we come down to the last paragraph, it says, following the encounter, the troops rescued the victims and recovered the sum of 3.8 million naira. That's 3,800,000 naira intended for ransom payment. The rescued victims were immediately debriefed to aid further operations, while the recovered cash was handed back to them. They are currently in safe custody at the troops' location, pending handover, and so on and so forth.
Joe, I think you should even read the paragraph before.
Okay, all right, let's go
back to the paragraph that starts with however. Because that particular paragraph, if you now put it vis-a-vis what the report is.
Okay, all right.
It says, go ahead, please.
Okay, it says, however, while en route to the location, Nigerians, Lagos, take note, the troops came under fire from the criminals. In the ensuing exchange, the gallant soldiers engaged the bandits with superior firepower, forcing them to abandon 2 victims along with the ransom money. The criminals subsequently fled into the forest with various degrees of gunshot wounds.
All right.
And if you go
that
to the
strength and the superiority,
the battle front line and so on and so forth. But here's the twist to the story. Let's see if we can have the pictures up. Yeah, so you see pictures circulating that were equally shared. Yeah, those are the 2 victims and so on. But there's this sad twist to this story. Nigerians who are very, very savvy with social media and news dissemination, vigilance in terms of everything, decided to highlight a very worrisome issue here with this story. Apparently, this picture and the story, the images rather, do not in any way support the story. Rather, the images you see on the screen there have been highlighted to be an old rescue mission. Old, not new. But for context, let's get to see what the tweets have got to say in terms of reference post. We're going to see what it is. The General Snow says, why are you lying? These are people's lives you're playing games with. Tell me how we will ever believe anything from this handle. This is social media era. We will know the truth. And let's take more tweets very quickly, more X's, if you want to put it that way. You people have rolled back to snatching random pictures from the internet and reporting it as a rescue update. How are you reporting updates from 9 months ago? What level of incompetence have you descended to? God, what did you bring me here? Salako, don't fret. Let's take more. Dear U.S. Army, this one tags the United States Army. You cannot threaten us. We have 50 million equally capable, very motivated young men and women like this in the NY. No, this way.
On the big stage of Nigeria, insecurity remains a big problem. What are you likely to do about it? Because we've seen a general, who rose to the highest level in the military, who promised to deal with insecurity. He's not been able to do it. Another general says his government is overwhelmed. How do you intend to tackle that so that Nigerians can feel safe?
Ruben, when you deal with security, there's 2 forms of security. There's what you call natural security and defensive security. The natural security is that people must have food on their table. If you don't know where the next meal will come from, you are a tool for anything that is wrong. So you have to start pulling people out of poverty. In the defensive security, which is because all this banditry, everything you're seeing, kidnapping 80 people, taking people, putting them as kidnapping and all that, the agitation, everything is cumulative effect, I said everything, of leadership failure, of not investing in the human beings by making sure they have a means of livelihood. Now they don't have a means of livelihood. They are trying to take revenge on the society, which will eventually take revenge on them because the place will be collapsed. So What you need to do is aggressively genuinely start pulling people out of poverty. It's been done everywhere in the world. Then, on the defensive security, is a renewable asset. Security is not something you wait until there's an issue and they start reacting. You need to be doing procurement of necessary equipment, employment of necessary manpower. Nigeria is the only country I know with this big size, with one single policing. No, shouldn't be. There should be policing at all levels, local government, state government, coordinated with the central one, and you have to start putting the manpower is low. We cannot have Egypt having almost the number they have, and look at where we are. So we need to increase the number. We need to do more in terms of investment in security. Security is an intangible asset. One of the greatest contributors to your GDP is actually security, because the investor have to be safe that if he comes here, he will go back with his money. And it's affecting in any way. I was discussing with someone saying, oh, we can't find money. I said, let me tell you, today, you pay in your Eurobond issue as a country, you pay 7 to 8%. So if we take it that we're owing $100 billion, it might not be all in dollars because we have the Naira component. But even let me take even all of it, that you're paying an average of about 10% when you combine Naira and this thing. But if you have security, like it's in Morocco, you know how much Morocco pays for its Eurobond? 2% Because the people who are investing here are not taking risks, so they demand more. Imagine you have $100 billion and your interest rate on the average is about, say, 10%. I put look at it might be below, it might be below, but you're paying about 10 billion to service the debt, just to pay interest. Imagine if you do the right things and it's 5%. You have 5 billion savings. And you throw just half of that in your security. You secure the people. Ruben, when we look at these things at times, some people make it look complicated. Ruben have Southern Anambra State where there was zero income. And we came with the money we saved. There's so many things to chop down here and provide security, both natural and defensive. It's something you spend every day. Don't wait until they come and carry 5 people in your village. Ruben, when I moved into Anambra, there was the issue of security. We sat down with the unions, we sat down with this, and everybody. Go, before I left, every community in Anambra State have a functional security paid by government, provided with vehicle, and every gadget they need. And I asked them, it's still. So that is what we do. And you have to do it annually. It's not something you spend this year and say, okay, I gave you money last year. Otherwise, America won't be doing huge budget for security, for defense. It's that like all over the world. And they're still employing more and more people and everything. If you look at some of our men, they're tired. We need to support them. They need the moral boost. There's so many things. The army is not getting all the army, police, everybody. We need to do more.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Peter Obi, for joining us today.
Fill us in on how this campaign, which has been on for a while, how it got the attention and some of those very strong statements from the U.S. president. Because you will recall that this thing has been going on, the advocacy from Nigerians in the U.S. to get the U.S. government involved in this matter has been going on forever. We have never gotten to the point that a U.S. president will come out as strongly as Mr. Trump has done. Can you fill us in on what changed in the dynamics? Emmanuel.
Okay. Yes. Well, first of all, let me point out that I was involved in the drafting or advocacy for the passing of this bill about 28 years ago. And at that time, we were looking at countries like Sudan. We did not realize that many, many years afterwards, Nigeria's situation will be bad enough to warrant designation. Now, that said, let's be clear. President Trump had actually called out Nigeria face to face with Buhari in 2018 when they met. The difference is Trump asked him nicely, stop the killing of Christians in Nigeria. It was direct engagement. And afterwards, they went back into the White House and they signed a trade agreement. So Trump was able to engage with him to resolve this issue and still do business with him. What has happened? After Trump left, the Democrats came in and they completely stopped an evaluation of Nigeria. And so, of course, when Trump came back, the situation had worsened since the last time that, he complained about it 7 years ago. And unfortunately, instead of addressing the issue, the Nigerian government started denying the facts. You see, when you are accused of stealing the goat meat, your response should not be, who would have stolen that kind of salty meat anyway? Because by your response, you admitted guilt. The Nigerian government, instead of saying, look, we are addressing the issue, this is what we have done, they say, hey, it's not only Christians who are being killed, others are being killed. It's an admission of state failure. And this is why we are where we are now on this issue. But let me point out something very important. Trump has announced the designation, but then the next phase is sanctions. And I want to be clear that the first time sanctions were waived, and this time around it's not too late to waive sanctions. Now, let me just reassure listeners about the threat of military action. Laolu, you were the one as bureau chief of Guardian here in the US who reported exclusively that the US military set up a base in Niger that was covering terrorism in Nigeria. You were the only one in the world to report it. Guess what? Those two bases that America had in Niger are now lost. They were closed after the coup. So America has lost its footprint in West Africa to conduct special operations. So what that has resulted in is that Boko Haram has actually increased its operational footprint and pathology. So the situation is worse. And I have to tell you this. I do not believe that President Trump is going to unleash any attacks on Nigeria for two reasons. One, historically, the US military has been reluctant to fight side by side with the Nigerian government because they don't trust the Nigerian military. And one specific example is when they got intelligence on the location of the Chibok girls in the forest, they were cooperating with the Nigerian army under direction of President Obama. So the US government told the Nigerian army that they would gas the camp where Boko Haram was with the girls and then knock everybody out so that they could rescue the girls safely without exchange of gunfire. After they mapped out this plan, the next thing that happened, when the troops got to the camp of Boko Haram, they saw Boko Haram wearing gas masks. So the US realized that the Nigerian military had leaked the operational details to Boko Haram. This is why the US does not want to work directly with Nigeria with boots on the ground, because they do not trust the Nigerian army. Now, here is what we could be concerned of, and here is what I believe Trump was referring to. An American was abducted in Niger and was brought by the Fulani Islamist terrorists to Nigeria as they were about to sell him to Boko Haram. That was during the Trump first term. So Trump sent US Special Forces to Nigeria to go and rescue them. But to show you the level of cooperation between the US and Nigeria, Taj Patel then was the one who was to liaise with Nigeria and give Nigeria information that US troops were coming into their airspace. They literally stopped the SEAL team while they were in the air until they got clearance from Nigeria to enter Nigeria's airspace. They arrived in Sokoto, they killed the 6 Fulani terrorists who had abducted the American citizen. They captured one and handed him to the police, and then they flew back with their citizen. What happened then? Trump came and announced it, that we have just recovered Philip Walton in an operation who had been abducted. So why am I giving you this background? A few days ago, another American was abducted in Niger. And what Trump is saying, in effect, is that if this guy ends up being brought to Nigeria again by these Fulanis who abducted him, I will take action. So the likelihood, what he might mean, is that the location where this boy is found will be held liable. So my advice to whoever is in touch with these people, I know that Nigeria's NSA has been involved in ransoming people from Fulani bandits. Let that American that ride out be found and returned peacefully so that there will be no problem.
Well, let's just, for the sake of objectivity and balance, let's say that what you just said about the NSA is an allegation because that office has denied, ransom taking, since it's not here to give a response. But to take your question to the next level, you also will recall, Mr. Ogebe, that it was the first presidency of Mr. Donald Trump that actually facilitated the sales of the military to Kanos to Nigeria, which was prevented before it got there. So clearly, I also don't think that Mr. Trump is playing games. And like you have said, he had also raised this issue informally with the former president. And so it's not as if he's just coming to the issue for the first time. And so I wanted to ask you the next question, that what do you say, with this background, what do you say to the conspiracy theorists who argue that the Americans are only interested in the resources in Nigeria, particularly the solid minerals, the lithiums, and all the other stuff that they are in a they have a significant need of? What's your response? You are there in Washington, D.C., Emmanuel.
Well, the funny thing is that the United States has more oil reserves than Nigeria. Secondly, President Jonathan told me himself that Nigerian oil is being smuggled into the U.S. and that he appealed to President Obama to help him investigate and stop the oil bunkering that was illegally going into the U.S. Now, of course, you know that the U.S. has signed an agreement with Ukraine to have access to their earth minerals. Nigeria is not that critically needed by the U.S. for the U.S. to waste military manpower and resources to take over Nigeria. That is arrant nonsense. Our leaders in Nigeria are already stealing money from Nigeria and bringing to the West and buying houses. So they don't need to do that. But let me make something very clear. And the issue here is this, okay? When we're talking about foreign intervention in Nigeria, let us look at the facts. The people in Northwest Nigeria invited Lakawura, a terrorist group, to come into Nigeria and assist them in fighting bandits, only for Lakawura to come in and become bandits themselves. Let's remember that El Rufai, a sitting governor, said that he traveled out of the country to go and pay off the Fulanis who were attacking Nigeria. And we saw what happened. They ended up moving into Nigeria and creating a terrorist syndicate nationwide. Let's remember that Buhari himself brought in Fulanis in the hopes of, destabilizing the country if he did not win the elections. So when you look at all that has been done by the other side, it's unfortunate if somebody now comes to you and says, try and save your own people from being killed. And you, as a government who have admitted that these are foreigners who are coming in and killing you, are beginning to insult the person that, no, it's not just Muslim Christians they're killing, it's Muslims too. Let me point out something else that is very important to note. Trump has said that he may stop aid to Nigeria. And here's the thing. Remember that Obama and co at a point tried to leverage their aid to say Nigeria must introduce and accept same-sex marriage and so on and so forth. And, Nigerians were upset with them doing that. This time around, it's a very different situation. He's saying try and stop the killings of your own citizens. So it's not a question of their imposing Western ideologies and theories on Africa. It's a question of saying, save your own lives and value your own lives. So I think, everyone should be rest assured that we will not see a military escalation, but we should certainly at this time begin to take aggressive steps to engage. The sanctions can be waived. The federal government should set up a response team and bring in knowledgeable people like yourself. You were in the US, you know this issue. Bring in Kuka, bring in, knowledgeable people. Let's sit down and come up with a roadmap on how to avert sanctions.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. So let's talk about, in your own view, whether we need to have some kind of rallying together of all Nigerians on this matter. Because part of the problem is that you have quite a number of people in our population saying that, what about the Muslims that are also being killed? Some will even come up with a claim that, look, more Muslims are actually dying from the killings, a lot of killings going on in the country. So, in your view, Emmanuel, how can we, pull ourselves together and say that, look, let us treat this as a national concern, as a national emergency, and not something that is meant to divide us like Christians here and Muslims there. What's your counsel?
Yeah, so the issue is very, very straightforward. And anybody who denies that Christians have been a central target and focus of the genocide is allergic to the truth. And you shouldn't play politics with the blood of martyrs, with the blood of God's children. That is unacceptable. Now, here's the fact of the matter. We, as at November 1st, 10 people have already been killed in Plateau State. All of them Christians. First day of November, okay? The week before, 12 were killed in Plateau State. All of them Christians. Let us not deny the obvious. What we're saying is no single person should be killed. But we have a situation where Christians are the primary targets and Muslims are collateral damage. We have terror groups in Nigeria who fight over whether they should kill Christians alone or whether they should kill Christians and Muslims who oppose them or who refuse to join them. Let me mention, something very important. The Nigerian government wanted to send a team to the US to meet with the US Congress. But let me tell you what happened to the last team that came in September. When they got to the US and went to Congress, they were presented a position paper from the US Congress, and they went back. They had the chance to present that paper to the House, debate it, and come up with a response. Nothing happened. When they went to the UK, they told the UK, oh, there's no targeting of Christians. This is just general banditry. Do you know what the members of the UK asked them? One question, and they kept silent. They said, if it is simply just criminality, what about the case of Leah Sharubi? 110 girls were taken from Dapchi. The government of Nigeria negotiated their release. All the Muslim girls were released. Only Leah, the only Christian, was kept behind. How can you say that is purely criminality? So let us not play games. Let me point out that the CPC designation is not only focused on Christian persecution. It involves persecution of Muslims as well. That is why one of the key issues that was raised by Ted Cruz was the blasphemy law. We have two Muslims who are, one is on death row and one is on life imprisonment because of debates that they had with people, and they were now condemned as having perpetrated blasphemy and apostasy, and they've been sentenced. These are victims of religious extremism and intolerance. But even with this case of these Muslims who went through this legal process, compare that to Deborah Emmanuel, who I'm showing on this T-shirt. Deborah was a Christian. If they were offended by her remarks, he could have been tried like the Muslims. He wasn't. He was burnt alive. And the people who did it showed their faces on camera, and nothing has happened to them. So we as a country should set up a response, but most importantly, the National Assembly should begin a hearing on the state of religious persecution in Nigeria. And let Nigerians ventilate their grievances and let this administration address it. I believe that President Tinubu is a political engineer. For him to have overcome all the obstacles he had to achieve this position, he's somebody who is very savvy, and he has the opportunity to resolve it. We want Christianity and Islam in northern Nigeria to be like Christianity and Islam in southwest Nigeria. And if Tinubu cannot do it, somebody who is married to a redeemed pastor, then there's no hope for Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Gebe. And I share that view entirely with you, that the president is specially positioned to solve this matter just by the point that you've raised, and the fact that in the Southwest, you know, you have the best model of Christians and Muslims and all other
anywhere in the world. The
know,
Southwest is an example of religious tolerance anywhere in the world.
Yeah. So Mr. President is positioned to actually solve this problem. I'm going to give you one more minute. Can you tell us, so how was this reflected, or is going to be reflected at the International Prayer Day? Please, 1 minute.
Yes. Well, around the world, today is marking the International Day of Prayer for the Persecuted. And here in the DC area, we're going out to pray for Nigerians in particular. And I know that on December 1, I believe, Nigerians are gathering outside the White House to also protest in honor of people who have died. Let me just mention that on Sunday last week, we buried a Nigerian Christian from Yobe who survived the genocidal attacks of 2012. Well, he lost 3 sons who were killed by Boko Haram that day. One man. And last week he died and was just buried on Sunday. So we are continuing to see parents of people who died themselves dying. So the collateral effects of the terrorist attack is having second, third, and fourth repercussions. And this is why it needs to be taken seriously.
Imagine just because that Trump said that he's going to invade Nigeria and take out terrorists, terrorists are now running out. So they knew that there is terrorists in Nigeria, but they all kept quiet. And guess what? It's even our leaders that even founded and are funding these Boko Haram and terrorists, because ask yourself, they are not working. So where are they getting the arms from? Where are they getting the bullets from? Where are they getting the information from? This is what I've exposed in this video, that this is what our government are doing, that they are the one that should be held accountable on this issue of insecurity in Nigeria. And there is no doubt about it, because right now, them themselves have exposed themselves. Imagine Sheriff coming to say that he's not the one, that is Shetima. And guess what? Shetima is our vice president. That means our leaders are the ones that found Boko Haram, and they are the ones that are sponsoring Boko Haram too. So how then do we intend them to fix the country? They cannot, because they are the ones that are funding them and also giving them all they want. So that is where Trump is saying that he's going to come in and make sure he stop this Christian killing in Nigeria. So this is why they are afraid and they are scared. But let me go to the views in the comment section. I'll put you guys in my next video.